Well, well, well. What have we here, friends? Asks the old man. He seems to be talking to someone next to him, although you are certain he is alone. Looks like a washed-up adventurer to me, he says, in answer to his own question. All wet and out of luck. He carries on having this conversation with himself, a conversation that quickly turns into a heated debate. He's clearly quite mad. Excuse me? Excuse me? You shout above the hub-hub. In an attempt to grab the old man's attention, he stops and stares at you. Is this the Isle of the Druids? You ask impatiently. Indeed it is, says the old man. I see that you are from a far land, so it is up to me to welcome you to Harkuna. But I think you may have much to do here, for it is written in the stars that someone like you would come. Your destiny awaits you. Follow me, young adventurer. The old man turns smartly about and begins walking up a path towards some hills. You can just see some sort of monolithic stone structure atop one of them. Come on, come on! I'll show you the gates of the world, the old man babbles. So I can follow him, I can explore the coast, or I can head into the nearby forest. I think I'll follow him, turning to page 192. Turning to 192, entry 192. Where is it? Here it is. During your short trip upward, the old man regales you with tales of destiny and fate. Your destiny and fate, continuously arguing with himself as he does. You reach the hill, crowned with a circle of large obsidian standing stones. Despite the bitter wind that blows across these hills, the stones are unweathered and seem almost newly laid. Here are the gates of the world, says the mad old man. The stones are laid in such a way that they form 3 archways, each carven with mystic symbols and runes of power. Each gate will take you to a part of the world of Harkuna, though I know not where, explains the old man. Abruptly, he turns around and sets off down the hill, babbling to himself. His voice fades as he descends the hill, leaving you alone with the brooding stones and the howling wind. Turn to 65. There are 3 stone gates engraved with ancient runes. Each gate is marked with a name: Yellowport, Marlock City, and Wishport. From here you can see the coast and the whole island, which is heavily forested. I can either explore the coast, head into the forest, or step through one of the 3 gates. I'm gonna go and explore the coast, actually, so we'll return to where we crashed. Let's go to 128. 128 is this one. You make your way around the coast. The interior of the island appears to be heavily forested. After a while, however, you come across a bay in which a couple of ships are anchored. A small settlement nestles on the beach, and you make your way towards it. Turn to 195. Gain the code word Aspen if you do not already have it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in here. Aspen. The trading post is a small village, Set up here by enterprising settlers from the mainland. Its main export appears to be furs from the forest. The mayor, a fat, genial fellow, who greets you personally, insists that one day the trading post will be the thriving town. There is not a lot here yet, however. A small market, a quay, a settler's houses, and a shrine to Lacuna the Huntress, goddess of nature. So I can visit the shrine, visit the market, visit the quayside, visit the Green Man Inn, climb the hill that overlooks the town, or go inland into the forest. I think I'll visit the shrine. 544. The shrine is set in a wooden grove. Birds twitter in the trees, and a deer darts away into the forest as you approach. A priestess is tending a lower altar, where food and drink has been laid out in honor of Lacuna, the goddess of the wilderness. She is the patron of hunters, trappers, woodsmen, and all those who would seek oneness with nature. I can become an initiate of Lacuna, renounce the worship of Lacuna, seek a blessing, talk to the priestess, or just leave. I'll talk with the priestess. 471. If you have the code word animal, turn to 369. If not, read on. Okay, I need to read on then. I do not have that code word. The priestess, dressed in silken robes and wearing a wreath of oak leaves, says, "I have need of an adventurer like yourself. For arcane reasons involving the secret mystery of Lacuna, I need the tusk of a boar. A were-boar, in fact. I believe that they can be found in the Forest of the Forsaken, in North Golnir. Hunt down a were-boar, and bring me its boar's tusk. In return, I will teach you how to be a better scout." I mean, my scouting's at 6, because I'm a wayfarer, so... do I need this? Yeah, sure, why not? I'll go ahead and take this. So it's the start of an adventure after all, might as well live up to it. Add the code word animal. And turning to 544. Okay. Wait, hold on. 471. What was it that it said? Go to the Forest of the Forsaken, north of Golnir. Okay, I'm gonna quickly take that down as a note. There we go. And the quest was get a boar's tusk. Found in Forests of the Forsaken, Northern Golnir. Okay. Well, I'm going to quickly have a look at that map, since there's a nice map at the start of the book. How would be the best way to get there? I don't quite know. And so because of that, I think I'll just go on an adventure. We'll see what we can do. Oh Christ, these are going to be just as bad as my D&D notes. Okay, so from there, I suppose we leave the temple. Since I don't know what becoming an initiate of Lacuna is like, and I don't know if completing this quest would grant me the exact same thing. So until then, we leave the temple. 195. Again, the code word Aspen, already have it. We're back in the village. This is the same trading outpost, and I have the same options. So I can visit the market, I can visit the quayside, go to the Green Man's Inn, climb up the hill, or go inland into the forest, which I think I'll do. 257. Okay. The trees are closely packed, leaning together as if in conference, whispering quietly among themselves. Birds twitter in the distance, and the silver of sunlight dances down through the musty gloom. As you proceed along a forest track, you think you hear a rustling in the bushes. Later, you spot a shadowy figure darting through the trees. Or was it just your imagination? An animal snuffling sound, right behind you, and you spin around, but nothing is there. Make a scouting roll of difficulty 10. Well, I have a +6 to my scouting, which means I need to roll a 4 or more. Come on. I rolled a 6 on my 2 dice, which means I've got 12. I beat the challenge. If you are successful, go to 630. Okay, let's go there. You struggle deeper into the forest until you come to a thick wall of impenetrable thorn bush. Circling it, you find that there's a break in this hedge, but it's filled with a big tree. To your surprise, a face forms on the trunk and speaks in a woody voice. None can pass. Be gone, human. If you have the code word apple, turn here. If not, you can try returning to the trade post, attacking the tree, or persuading it to let you past. I think we'll talk to the tree before we try and chop it to pieces. 237. Plus, it's a tree. Who knows? It might be heavily armoured. Or if it's like an Ent from D&D, and I'm a level 1 character right now, I'm a rank 1, I might just get squished. Oh, I've lost myself. I don't know how I've managed that. It's literally the same. $237. Okay. Ah, that's why I wasn't going far enough. 237. Here it is. You explain what a tree lover you are, and that your heart has always been at home in forests. You portray yourself as the greenest adventurer ever. Make a charisma roll with difficulty 10. Add 3 to the dice if you are a wayfarer, and add 1 if you are an initiate of Lacuna. Damn, I would have had a +4 to my roll based on what this is saying if I'd been an initiate. But I do have a +3 to my charisma, which makes my charisma a 5 instead of the 2. So, in order to beat a 10, I need to roll 5 or higher. And I rolled exactly 5. Oh god, that was close. I'm not being turned into Ent paste just yet. So, with that being done, I succeeded. I will turn to 391. Well, I suppose I could let one such as yourself through, the tree says thoughtfully. Then it uproots itself with a great tearing sound and shuffles out of the way. There you go, the tree says. You may pass. You walk through the thornbush gate. Beyond you find several huge oak trees whose branches are so big that they are able to support homes of many people. Gain the code word apple, and then turn to 358. Apple. I've got lots of A's so far in my code words. I have auric, aspen, animal, and apple. Okay, we'll see how this goes. So what page am I turning to? 358. Let's go find 358. "Welcome to the City of Trees," says a passing woman, dressed in the garb of a druid. "The city has been built amidst the branches of several mighty oaks. Ladders run up and down the trees to the houses that are perched like nests in the branches. You are not allowed into any of the homes, but the druids will allow you to barter at their marketplace." I'm looking at the prices of all this stuff, and yeah, that's 16 shards that I currently have. Cannot really afford... No, just straight up cannot afford anything in here. Yeah, no, I have not enough money. When you're finished, if you are a wayfarer as a profession, turn to 645. Okay, let's go to 645. Otherwise I would be turning to 678, but I am a wayfarer, so I shall go to 645. 645. Here we are. If there is a tick box, turn to 248 immediately. If not, put a tick in the box now and read on. Oh, okay, I guess I need another column on my little spreadsheet here then that says ticked boxes 645. Okay. And then I'll just quickly merge this, put everything to the side. Change its colour. We'll go with a nice green. That'll do. And then put the borders on it. There we go. Okay. So, reading on. "You are brought before the druid's leader, the Oak Druid, a bearded fellow with earth and leaves tangled up in his hair. He asks you to perform a service for them. Take this oak staff to the willow druid of the forest of Larun. The sacred grove where he lives will be hard to find, but I am sure you can do it. The willow druid will give you something to bring back to me. When you return with it, I will make you a better wayfarer. Note the oak staff on your adventurers sheet and leave the City of Trees, returning to 678. So now I have an oak staff. And then I need to give oak staff to willow druid in forest of Larun. Okay. And then return to 678. Okay. If you have the code word Aspen, turn to 195. Otherwise, read on. Wait, hold on. Is that correct? 678. 678 is one of the last things on in the book. I'm just making sure that I'm reading the right things here. Yeah, if I have the code with Aspen, which I do, go to 195. Okay, and let us return to 195. Which I believe is the town. It is. Then let us ascend the hill instead. I won't be going into the inn or anything yet. I don't have any money to trade or sell anything. I mean, I could sell this staff, but I've just been given it for the quest, and I don't think that's I don't think that's quite right. I don't think that Jalzul, my wayfaring character, would wish to betray his newfound friends so quickly. A narrow path leads up the hill. the top of which is crowned with a circle of large obsidian standing stones, hewn from solid rock. Despite the bitter wind that blows across them, these stones seem unweathered, and these are the power stones, so I turn to 65. I guess I could always just jump through one of the stones and hope to God that there's something interesting on the other side, but I think I'll go into the town and actually have a look around first. See what happened. Explore the coastline, head into the forest, or jump through the archways. Oh, I can't actually just walk directly down to the town from here. I have to go into the forest or something else. What does going into the forest entail again? 257. Was there another option I could have taken? Yeah, there was a success or a fail on trying to find the tree. And then I could go to 630. At which point I could return to the trading post or walk past. But since I already have the code word apple, I can already turn through to something else. But I will come here and then I will go to the trading town 195. Okay, since we've exhausted 3 of our options, I will go ahead and visit the marketplace. 452. I mean, I don't have any money, and I doubt I'll be able to sell anything, but we'll see what happens. 452. The trading post has a small marketplace in the village square, where half a dozen stalls sell a few goods. Items with no purchasing price are not available here. Okay. Well, I can't afford any of that, and then it sends me back to the village. Alright, okay, so that was a fruitful endeavour. How about we go to the quayside? 332. We'll go to the tavern last, and then after that I'm going to go jump through a gate, because I have no idea what else to do here. I'm pretty sure I've exhausted all the options at that point. So it's 332. The quayside at the trading post is a simple affair, without the harbour facilities or the shipwrights of larger ports. There are no ships available here to buy, but if you already own a ship, you can buy or sell your cargo. Well, as we found out when I read out the first part, my ship is utterly ruined, so I'm not going to be buying any cargo. If you seek one-way passage to Yellowport from here, at the cost of 15 shards, which is one less than all of my money, go to this page. If you have ship stuff, turn to 155. If not, go back to 195. Okay, so we're going back. And now we're going to go to the Green Man Inn, 181. Which is on the page previous, I believe. It is. The Green Man Inn costs you a shard a day. Each day you spend here, you can recover 1 stamina point if injured, to the limit of your normal unwounded state. When you're ready, you can turn to 195. Okay, guess I'm gonna go jump through a portal then, because there's nothing else for me to do here. This town is too small, and I must go elsewhere. I must take myself elsewhere. Let's go ahead. We'll go up the hill, page 11. Well, entry 11. And then we go to 65. And I'm going to roll a d6, because there are 3 portals here, and I've no idea about anything of this world. This is the first time I'm playing. So, eeny, meeny, miny, the first portal's going to be 1 and 2, the second is going to be 3 and 4, and the last is going to be 5 and 6. So the first is Yellowport, the second is Murloc City, and the third is Wishport. So, helps if I roll on my table. Where did that dice go? Let's roll it on the table this time. I got the same roll, bizarrely, as I did on the floor. 4. So that counts as a 2 for us. We're going to Murloc City. Or Marlock City, even. Turn to 180. Okay. 180. You step through the archway. Immediately, the symbols on the stone begin to glow with a red, hot energy. Your hair stands on end and your body tingles. A crackling nimbus of blue and white force engulfs you. The sky darkens and rumbles, and thunder and lightning crash and leap across the heavens. Suddenly, your vision fades, and, momentarily, everything goes black. When your sight returns, you find yourself outside the gates of a huge, fortified city. A guard starts in surprise at your sight, at the sight of you. Then he shakes his head as if to clear it, sure that he must have just imagined what he saw. The gates open. A troop of heavy cavalry canter past. "Make way for the Marlock City militia," says the guard. When they have passed, you walk into the city. Turn to 100. Well, this is certainly... At least it's a city. So... it should be interesting. So, as we walk in, Marlock City is a huge, sprawling metropolis, enclosed in a fortified wall, said to have been built 1,000 years ago by the ancient Shadar Empire. It is the capital city of Sokhara. Marlock City was once known as Sokar until General Grieve Marlock led the army in a bloody revolt against the old king, Karn VII, and had him executed. The general renamed the city after himself. It is now a crime to call it Sokar. The general lives in the old king's palace, and calls himself the Protector General of all of Sokhara. Whereas the old king was corrupt, the general rules with an iron fist. Some people like the new regime, others are royalists, still loyal to Nagan, heir to the throne, who has gone into hiding somewhere. Outside the city gates hang the bodies of many dead people. Jesus. Labels around their neck read, "Rebels executed by the state for the good of the people." "You'd best behave yourself if you don't want to end up like one of them," grates a guardsman, nodding towards the swinging corpses as you pass through the great eagle-headed gates of Marlock City. "You can buy a townhouse in Marlock City for 200 shards. Well, that's a damn sight more than we have right now, so we're not doing that. Owning a house gives you a place to rest and blah 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 blah. We do not have that. To leave Marlock City by sea, or to buy or sell ship cargo, look at this. I do not want to look at this. So... oh, I have to go to the Harbour Master, that's what he was saying. Maybe I should have looked at this. Okay, so, I have a whole bunch of temples, a marketplace, the Harbourist, the Harbour Master, or I could go to the Merchants Guild, I could explore the city, I could visit the House of Priests, visit the General's Palace, travel east to Trefoil, or Trefoil, however that's pronounced. Trefoil is how I'm going to pronounce it from now on, because that sounds like a baking good. Head southwest towards the Shadar Tor, follow the River Grime north, journey north into the Cursed Moor, or head west to the River Grim Delta. I'm going to look at the map and see where we are. Currently, I am in... okay, so here I essentially couldn't find what I was looking for about 3 minutes. So instead you'll have this section of my lovely voice, followed by me finding it. Ah, I found it. Marlock City, right here. Okay. So the Forest of the Run is to the north. So we want to go to the north. So let's go... we'll journey on foot instead of going along the river. So we will journey north to the Cursed Moor. 175. If there's a ticked box, travel here immediately. If not, put a tick there now and read on. Okay. So this is a tick for 175. You were trekking across the aptly named Cursed Moor. The great rolling expanse of the blasted heather stretches before you. Grey clouds hang over a mournful, dirty, water-coloured plain, studded with rocky outcroppings and low hills. A raven flutters to the ground nearby, eyeing you curiously. His brothers caw loudly in the echoing sky. Dusk falls, and in the dim twilight, a herd of horses comes streaking out of the night, straight at you. As they near, it seems to you that their hooves are not touching the ground, and from their manes trail wispy clouds of sparkles, like tiny stars. Get out of the way, or mount one of them. Well, I think we'll be mounting one of them. This sounds like an adventure! 66, let's go! You stand your ground. The ghostly horses stream past you on either side, neighing wildly at the skies. Nimbly you leap at one, managing to wrap your arms around its neck and swinging on its back. The horse feels quite solid, but appears to be luminous, pale green in colour. You look up through a cloud of sparks emanating from the horse's mane just in time to see a rocky wall of a low hill looming up out of the evening mist. The horse is galloping full tilt right into it. Hold on or leap off. I mean, if the horse is going in there, maybe it's good. Sorry about that. So I think I'll flip a coin on it and we'll see what happens. I'll and then I'll decide myself, I suppose. This is just to be a backup, just in case I want to fall back on it instead. Heads is holding on. Heads it is. Good, because that's what I wanted to do. So we're holding on. Page 7. No, go to number 17. So let's go there. 17. The horse and you hit the wall. There is a bright flash. You find that you have passed straight through into the hill. This must be a fairy mound. The horse you are riding abruptly changes shape in a puff of smoke. You find yourself on the back of a little knobbly-limbed, white-faced goblin, who promptly collapses under your weight. You are in a cavern, lit by mouse-sized fairy folk, who flit about in the air, blazing like fireflies. The other horses also turn into goblins, elves, and fairies of all shapes and sizes. "What have we here?" whispers a pale, dark-eyed elfin woman, dressed in silvery cobwebs and wearing a gold crown. "An overweighted mortal sitting on poor old Gobrash, your majesty," groans the goblin you're sitting on. You realize that you are in danger here. There is no telling what the fairy folk will do to you. The queen signals to her people, and they close in around you ominously. Make a sanctity roll with difficulty 9. Well, that's slightly lower than the difficulties that we've had before, but my sanctity is 3, so I have to roll a 6. Oh, please, by the faith of the lords, whichever ones exist here, give me strength. I just managed the 6 with a 4 and a 2. Thank Christ. Or thank the Kuna, I suppose, whichever one it is. Let's go ahead and have a look. 626. Oh. You recite a devotional prayer to the gods, calling on your faith to aid you. The goblin folk are repelled by your piety and purity of soul. Even Gobrash finds his strength to get out from under you and run off. Such is the effect on them. "Yeah!" snarls the queen, recoiling. "Please! Your godliness is hurtful to us. Here, take this and leave!" You're given a jug of fairy mead and an enchanted spear combat +2. Ooh. +2. Well, I'm definitely going to equip that, which brings my defense up to a 9. And some fairy mead. The wall behind you shimmers and disappears. You step back through it, into the cold night air of the cursed wall. You leave the fairy mound behind, and camp for the night. The next day, you resume your travels. So, I can head north, across country, head east to the road, go to Trefoil, go to Marlock City, or head west towards the Grime. Well, at the moment we want to head further north still, so I'm going to go to 560 on this. 560. You are crossing the western wilderness, an expanse of wild, sparsely populated countryside. A few trappers and woodsmen make their living here from the natural resources of the area. A tall spire of rock, a towering anomaly of geology, rises up into the clouds, dominating the horizon. A local hunter tells you it is known as Devil's Peak, and that the summit is infested with demons. Sweet Lord. Demons. I can either climb the peak, or head north into the forest of Larun, which is exactly what I'm going to do, because I need to go there. 47. The forest of Larun is a mighty swath of densely packed trees, a slice of primordial nature in the middle of a busy, industrious Sokara. Venture deep into the forest, north to Bronze Hills, west to the River Grime, south into the countryside, or east to the road. Deeper still we must go. We must find this druid man. 596. You thread your way through the ranks of trees. In places, the forest canopy almost blocks out the sunlight completely, and you wander in deep shadow, haunted by the cries of the creatures of the forest. If you have an oak staff, turn to 653 immediately. If not, read on. Well, we do have the oak staff, so 653. You're on a quest to take the oak staff to the willow druid, who lives in the sacred groves somewhere in the forest. You wander around, looking for unusual tracks, strange creatures, anything that might lead you in the druid's direction. Scouting roll difficulty 12. Well, that means I need to have a 6. So if I don't roll a 6, I'm bummed. And I did roll, in fact, directly on a 6. Oh, I do not like how close these rolls are. Where was I looking? Here I am. Successful. If you're successful with the scouting roll, turn to 217. 217. You come across a forest glade. Birds twitter in the trees. The woodland animals frolic playfully about. In the middle of the glade stands a mighty willow, ancient beyond reckoning. The trunk is hollow, and a wooden door has been set in the entrance. You step into the glade. Make a sanctity roll of 9. I need to roll a 6 again. Hey, I rolled a 10 on the dice. That's pretty good. So that's 13. I think we passed that one with a nice good bit to spare. That one. Turn to 356. You are pious enough to be allowed entrance to the sacred grove. You step in and knock on the door. A kindly old druid opens the door and greets you. You hand him the oak staff, crossing this off your adventure sheet. Okay, so I'll go ahead and remove that. The oak staff is gone. Thank you, says the druid. An oak staff, eh? That's an interesting message, to be sure. He hands you 50 shard as payment. Yay, getting rich. And a willow staff. Okay, so we replace the oak staff with the willow staff. Saying, please, take this staff to the Orc Druid in the City of the Trees, on the island of Druids. I'm sure he'll reward you, too. Good day, And thanks again. With that, he shuts the door. You head back into the forest, turn to 47. 47. The forest of Lurun is a mighty swath of densely packed trees, a slice of primordial nature in the middle of a busy and industrious Sokara. I think we should venture west towards the River Grime. 333 is where we're going now, so let's go ahead. You are on the east bank of the River Grime. Roll 1 dice. I rolled a 2. If you score a 1 or a 2, a water sprite curses you. Lose a blessing if you have one. It's a good thing I didn't have any blessings then, innit? Yeah. When you're ready, you can cross to the west bank. Cities of Gold and Glory, page 99. I believe I have that book. I do. So I could go there if I want. Head east into the forests of Lurun. Follow the river north, or follow it south. We'll follow it north. I'll stay inside of this book here for now. 1, 2, 3. And this is the east bank of the River Grime, near its source in the spine of Harkoon, far to the north. You reach a ford where you can travel to the west bank for 1 shard. You could try and swim across instead, but the current is rather strong, and so you would need to succeed on a scouting roll difficulty 10 in order to do so. These are all taking me in the direction of a different book. I will instead travel into the wilderness. 276. I shall not be swimming on this day. You are wandering across the wilderness of the northwest Sokara. There's a magnificent castle nearby, with many different pennants flying from the towers. I could go to the castle, go back to the river, travel north into the mountains, head northeast in a direction, head east into the Bronze Hills, or go south for the run. I will go... Let's go see the castle. That seems interesting. 611. 611. If you have the code word anvil, turn to 130 immediately, if not read on. As you draw near, you see that the pennants all represent different coloured dragons. A red dragon, a black dragon, a green dragon, and so on. Outside the gates, a jousting list has been set up, and a few warriors are trying their hand against some of the knights who have dragon symbols on their shields. A knight in full plate armour rides up to you and says, "Welcome to the castle of the Dragon Knights. It is our custom to joust against all who would come here. For a wager, of course." He explains that you must bet the weapon and the suit of armour that you will be using for the joust. If you lose, you forfeit the weapon and armour. If you win, you get the armour and the weapon of the knight you've defeated. Most of your potential opponents, you note, would be using swords and plate armour. If you have the code word axe, turn here. Otherwise, you can leave or take the wager and joust. You must have a weapon and at least some leather armours. I have leather armour because I have a leather jerkin. So, do I want to fight some knights and possibly get my weapons taken from me, or do I want to go elsewhere? I'm going to fight them. Yeah, I'll fight them with this enchanted spear and my +1 leather. I'm sure that I'll come out on top. Turn to 297. I mean, what fun is adventuring if you don't have anything to lose? Decide which armor you will be fighting in and what weapons you will choose. These will be what you're betting with. Roll a die, check the table below. The result is the knight you must fight. So it looks like there are 3 choices. I rolled a 2. So I am fighting the Blue Dragon Knight with a combat of 3, a defense of 8, and a stamina of 6. Well, my defense is 1 higher than his, so that's good. And my combat is also higher than his, so that's also good. I've just realised that I needed to add the +2 combat for my enchanted spear, because it makes more sense for that to be in my combat than it does for anything else. Armor would just be defensive, but a weapon would actually be to hit things. So let's do this. Because this is not a duel to the death, your weapons are padded, so any stamina you lose is not permanent. It is recovered immediately after the fight. Oh, nice. If you win, turn to 19. If you're reduced to 0 stamina, pass out and turn to 370. Okay, so I start off this lancing duel. Yaha! I stab him with my spear, or at least I'll attempt to. I've rolled a 5. A 5 plus a 7 is a 10. That beats his defense of 8 by 2, so his stamina is now 4. However, at the same time, since this is a jousting match, he jousts against me with his. And, oh sweet lord, I rolled really well for him. That's not good. 10 plus 3 is 13. That is 4 higher than my defense, and so that beats me down to 5. Oof, that was a hefty hit. So, second round, I slam into him with my attack. Ooh, that's good. 6 and a 2 on the dice. 6 plus 7 is 13. Plus my 2, 15. 15 is 7 higher than his defense. I knock him out. Okay. That's nice. And then I immediately gain my stamina back, since it was only temporary. So I'm not actually injured. But I do beat him up, so that's good. Turn to page 19. Or turn to insert 19. Let's go there. Put a tick in an empty box. Okay, so I need to go tick boxes 19 brackets 1. 1 of 3. If all 3 boxes of these are ticked, click Get Anvil. Okay, well they're not. I only have 1. The Dragon Knights are impressed with your combat skills. Your opponent comes around, ruefully rubbing his neck. Grudgingly, he admits to your superior skill in your hand and hands you his weapon and armor. You gain an ordinary sword and heavy plate defense plus 6. Defense plus 6? What? Okay. Heavy plate plus 6. I am definitely going to equip that, so that makes my armor 5 better. Meaning that I go from a 9 to a 14. That seems like a pretty beefy warrior, in my opinion. And I also gain an ordinary sword. So I get another sword. Well, I'm glad I used my +2 weapon. That was, I imagine at the very least, if I don't want this heavy plate and this sword, I can sell it for a lot. Which means I'll be doing a massive amount of good for myself. You take your leave and turn to 276. Okay, so 276 was where I got my choices, and I think I'll actually visit the castle again. However, I believe that I am just shy, or just over, an hour at this point, so that'll be where we leave off. I will be visiting the castle again to see if I can keep my luck going, especially with this shiny new defensive armor that I've just acquired. Thank you for listening to this read and play of the Fabled Lands. I have been the Fabled Hero. This has been the tale of Jalzul the Wayfarer as he travels across what we know to be the Fabled Lands. If you enjoyed listening, I'd suggest subscribing as more is to come. If you liked this story so far, go ahead and hit the like button. And be sure to have a good day.